Given the fact that these changes have been recently put in place, this is a long-term project for the federal government.
Right.
So where will the endpoint be? When will people finally say there's been a reduction?
Well, the most recent UN report on climate change said that we've got to make substantial reductions in greenhouse gas pollution in the next 15 years. This EPA regulation is one of a suite of things that need to happen. The EPA proposal is out for public comment now. It needs to, if it goes forward as we proposed it, the implementation will start in about 2020 and end in 2030. And when it's over, we will see about a 30% reduction in greenhouse gas pollution from fossil fuel plants. It's a big chunk. It's the equivalent of taking two-thirds of cars and trucks off the road if you just look at their greenhouse gas pollutants. So some folks think it's too modest, others think it goes too far. I happen to think it's the Goldilocks approach. It's just right, but it doesn't stand alone. It needs to be accompanied by other things. For instance, there's a lot that local governments and state governments can do. New York State has been a leader with a regional greenhouse gas initiative, a regional cap and trade program to drive down carbon pollution. Just a few days after EPA made this historic announcement, the Ulster County Executive, Michael Hine, announced that going forward, the county will only purchase electricity for county facilities if it's made from renewable sources. So it's one county. One would say, what's, the international impact on reducing greenhouse gases? But it's all those steps. It's EPA at the federal level. It's Ulster County at the local level that I think will add up to some really substantial reductions in greenhouse gas emissions.
Okay, I want to pivot a little bit and talk about some of the other environmental issues. One of them being that we've heard for decades about the problem of acid rain up here in the Adirondacks region. And I'm wondering if there's been any movement, if there's been a reduction, and does this new policy have any effect on that?
Yes, I think the progress on reducing acid rain is the model for how we can tackle climate change. The Clean Air Act gave EPA authority to drive down pollutants like nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide and mercury from fossil fuel power plants. EPA took action, really ramped up around 1990 after President George Herbert Walker Bush signed the amendments of the Clean Air Act. And today, the effect is that in places like the Adirondacks, acid rain is down 65%. That is largely due to leadership by the EPA and the states in tackling acid rain. It's also due to people like we met this morning who